Bob Saget did what to a rubber doll? The Tanners may have been squeaky clean, but the actors who played them were anything but. John Stamos' good guy image was tarnished in June 2015 when he was arrested for a DUI. Later that year, he was formally charged with 1 count of driving under the influence, to which he pleaded no contest and was sentenced to 3 years probation. Prior to his conviction, Stamos, who was reportedly driving under the influence of the club drug GHB at the time of his arrest, entered a rehab facility to treat an unknown medical condition.
Have mercy.
Speaking to NBC's Matt Lauer about his roller coaster ride of a year, Stamos blamed a lot of his behavior on personal tragedy, saying, "I lost my mother last year, who was the love of my life. Obviously a difficult time for me. I had this moment, I had some time off."
And I had a decision to make, and so I took advantage of the time, and I made a choice, and I'm just so grateful that I did.
In a shocking 2006 interview, Jodie Sweetin, who played the adorable middle Tanner sister Stephanie, admitted to Good Morning America that she was once addicted to methamphetamine. The actor revealed her habit began after Full House went off the air in 1995, saying, "There is a certain sense of loss when a series ends. It's kind of hard to figure out who you are when you've lost your job at age 13, when that was basically how you identified yourself."
I remember my mom saying that when I was little, I had this light that shined really big, and that she'd watched my light become very dark.
Sweetin goes into more detail about her drug habits in her 2010 tell-all, Unsweetened, admitting she snorted meth at the premiere of an Olsen Twins movie in 2004. "I was pulling off the deceit. It was hard for people to believe I was doing that much drugs. I look at photos from that event, and I didn't even look strung out."
The darkest moments for me weren't necessarily like winding up in the hospital or anything like that. It was those quiet moments alone.
Sweetin's personal life was also plagued by a number of failed relationships. The star had been divorced 3 times. Her most recent divorce came in 2013 when she filed for legal separation from her husband of 1 year, Morty Coyle, with whom she has a daughter, Beatrix. Sweetin also has a second daughter, Zoe, from her second marriage. Apparently, the 4th time wasn't going to be the charm either. After a blowout fight with her then-fiancé Justin Hodak, Sweetin was granted a restraining order against would-be husband number 4 when he was arrested after he threatened to kill himself with a 9mm pistol if she made him leave, according to TMZ. The problem with that, other than the obvious, is that Hodak is a convicted felon, which means the guns were in his possession illegally.
How rude!
Hodak violated the restraining order just days later by driving past Sweetin's house. He was arrested again, but released after posting bail. Sweetin, meanwhile, posted a pic of herself with her 2 daughters to Instagram to let everyone know this was all no big deal. Thank you so much to everyone who has reached out over the past 2 weeks. It's definitely been a roller coaster, but with amazing family, friends, and fans, I'll be just fine. These 2 little loves are my everything, and we will make it through. Thank you for all the love. Police sources later told TMZ they were once again called to Sweetin's house when Hodak showed up, but got scared off by security guards. Hodak denies being there. Happily, it looks as though Sweetin has finally found relationship happiness. She married Mezcal Wazleski in July 2022. One of the oddest questions that resulted from the death of Heath Ledger, who overdosed in 2008, was why his masseuse called Mary-Kate Olsen's cell phone before calling the police. The feds tried for months to get Olsen to speak voluntarily, or else risk being subpoenaed. Nevertheless, she refused to talk to the law without immunity. Perhaps due to her refusal to publicly discuss the circumstances surrounding Ledger's death, rumors began swirling. Olsen's attorney ultimately issued a statement saying, "Despite tabloid speculation, Mary-Kate Olsen had nothing whatsoever to do with the drugs found in Heath Ledger's home or his body, and she does not know where he obtained them." Once Ledger's case was closed, Olsen's knowledge of the actor's drug abuse was never questioned further. In the early 2000s, many looked on in horror as Mary-Kate Olsen's physical appearance seemed to deteriorate. Not surprisingly, rumors of drug abuse and/or an eating disorder quickly swept throughout the press and tabloids. In June 2004, Olsen finally checked into a rehab facility for a health-related issue, reported to be some kind of an eating disorder. A source close to the family told People there was an intervention. They finally reached the point where they had to act. They didn't want to find her dead on the floor from not eating. Without confirming or denying the reports, Olsen spoke to Elle magazine in 2008 about her alleged eating disorder, saying, "Everybody is going to go through hard times. It's a part of life. I think the hardest part to get to is that point of asking for help or reaching out to other people and being honest with yourself." When news broke that Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen wouldn't be joining the Netflix sequel Fuller House, many wondered why they would pass on the opportunity.
Well, Michelle sends her love, but she's busy in New York running her fashion empire.
Pressed at one point for an answer, Mary-Kate claimed the twins had just found out about the project and were surprised nobody spoke to them about it before, including co-star John Stamos. Stamos quickly fired back on Twitter saying, "I call bull." The surprisingly blunt tweet led some to wonder whether there was a feud brewing between the Olsen twins and the rest of the cast, which might explain why Stamos was so quick to cover his tracks. The following day, he tweeted, "Had a sweet talk with MK today. There are way more important things going in the world today." For what it's worth, the Olsens ultimately admitted they didn't want to do the show because they haven't acted in years.
We are so over!
For decades, many believed that Alanis Morissette's hit song, You Oughta Know, was actually about her ex-boyfriend, Dave Coulier, who played Joey Gladstone on Full House. The singer and actor were an item in the early 90s, but the rumors about the song were a big surprise, considering the lyrics contrasted significantly from Coulier's on-air persona.
I guess when you're an awesome physical specimen like my own bad self, germs take one look at my body and say, hey, why waste our time?
Morissette's anger toward the unnamed man she sings about in the hit tune is obvious, with lyrics like, "And I'm here to remind you of the mess you left when you went away." Years later, in 2014, Coulier spoke about the rumors that the angry ode was about him to BuzzFeed, saying, "First of all, the guy in that song is a real a-hole, so I don't want to be that guy." But by 2022, he finally seemed to admit to being said a-hole during an interview with SiriusXM's Jim Norton and Sam Roberts, saying, "I listened to the whole record, and there was a lot of familiar stuff in there, and I thought, oh, I think I may have really hurt this woman."
I'm listening to the lyrics going, ooh, oh no. Oh, I can't be this guy.
When Bob Saget died in early 2022, the tributes poured in. While some only knew him from his squeaky clean Full House role, those familiar with Saget's stand-up comedian days in the 1980s knew a different character. During an appearance on the WTF podcast, Saget said, "I did jokes and some stories, but most of them were just silly, dirty silly. I stayed like a kid who just talked silly." In his 2014 memoir, Dirty Daddy, Saget admitted he was the polar opposite of his perfectly clean character, Danny Tanner, when cameras weren't rolling on the set of Full House. In fact, his behavior was often crude.
Impossible, you say? For the average father, yes, but not for me, because I am Super Dad.
During one particular incident, thinking only adult crew members were in the room, Saget recalls a time when he made obscene gestures at a 4-foot-tall rubber doll used as a stand-in for his TV daughters. The joke got a load of laughs until Saget realized that the monitors were playing the action everywhere and anyone could see what he was doing. Now that's a mess not even Danny Tanner would want to clean up. As the squeaky clean character, Rebecca Donaldson Katsopoulos, also known as Aunt Becky, many assumed actor Lori Loughlin was equally as virtuous in real life. That myth was shattered on March 11, 2019, when it was reported that she had been indicted on felony charges of conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services mail fraud. Loughlin was in Canada when the news hit, according to The Blast. A warrant was issued for her arrest, so she boarded a plane and hightailed it back to Los Angeles to face the music. Court records obtained by People reveal Loughlin was among 50 people who allegedly participated in a multi-million-dollar college bribery scheme. She and the other defendants, including her husband Massimo founder Massimo Giannulli and fellow actor Felicity Huffman, were accused of paying money to get their children admitted into colleges such as Stanford, Yale, the University of Southern California, and Georgetown, with some help from SAT and ACT exam administrators and university coaches.
I always thought, I don't want to do anything that one day might rear its ugly head.
According to TMZ, Loughlin and her husband shelled out $500,000 so that their 2 daughters would be designated as recruits for the USC crew team. However, neither daughter participated on the team. Loughlin's children and the other students who benefited from it were said to be unaware of the scam. Candace Cameron Bure has openly revealed her conservative opinions during a number of heated debates, many of which have been criticized. In 2014, Bure came under fire for the way she described her role in her marriage to hockey player Valerie Bure. She wrote in her memoir, Balancing It All, I am not a passive person, but I chose to fall into a more submissive role in our relationship because I wanted to do everything in my power to make my marriage and family work. Amid the criticism, Bure was forced to go on the defensive by arguing she was using the Bible's definition of submissive. During an appearance on HuffPost Live, Bure said, "It is meekness. It is not weakness. It is strength under control. It is bridled strength." And just like that, our childhoods will never be the same. Have mercy.